What's going on, everybody? MC Andrew Love back on your screen and your speakers one more time. And I want to say thank you for tapping in to Let's Chat and Jam, Undiscovered Gems. We appreciate everything you guys are doing for us. As a matter of fact, we got our first plaque, folks. Yes, we were given a plaque from one of our local radio stations that we are on, and they gave us a plaque for being on there for a year. So it's obviously, folks, that we're doing something right because we're making it happen for over 55 episodes on this certain platform. And a matter of fact, this is 56. This is episode 56, and this is with my friend. Matter of fact, I met her I was in Buffalo, New York at the time, and I was going to college at ITT Tech. And this lady here happened to be one of my first instructors there at ITT Tech. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. I'm not kidding, man. This lady here changed my life. She was one of the best professors or instructors I've ever met in my entire college career. And she stood out to me and stayed in my mind's vision. And then one day on LinkedIn, I seen her name. I said, holy crap, she's out here. I got to tap in. And so that's what I did. I tapped in. Then I found out this lady here has been doing such great work for the community, for the kids, for businesses, for individual businesses. Man, this lady here is a godsend to entrepreneurs. You know why? She does things like grant writing. How many people can say that? They do grant writing. I can't say that, but she can. And she's got billions of dollars. This lady here is the shiznit. I'm telling you that right now, folks. And I tell you, I also heard that she got some musical genes in her family. I can't wait to tap in, folks. So without further ado, let me bring in the one and the only Kate.
Hey,
what's going on?
Not much. What's going on with you?
Oh, it's going great. Thank you for coming to the show. I really do appreciate it. It is an honor having you here.
Well, it's a pleasure and an honor to be on a student's podcast.
Yes, folks, I'm telling you something. This lady here, one of my first, that way. Yep. To my left, to your right. She was my first instructor, actually. I'm being on my schedule. She was my first instructor. And she really really hit it home, creative writing and creative thinking, think outside the box. That's what she used to do with us. She used to give us all sorts of exercises where we had to work with other people. Oh man. And
now
so
look
I did
at you.
that.
You're touching the world.
I love doing what I do because I get to talk to so many different interesting people in the world. And you happen to be one of those interesting people. The more I get to know you, the more I find out. And then the more that intrigues me. So, Miss Kate, let me just say this. Welcome to Let's Chat and Jam.
Well, thank you for having me. I actually feel honored, as I mentioned before, to be on here with a student. And also to know that you're inspired and moving forward and helping others to be uplifted also. And then just really seeing that my work years later is still making a difference in the lives of people that you never know where they're going to head, right? And you've been inspired. Like every time I talk to you, you're always doing something new. And I appreciate you bringing me on your show.
Well, I had to, man. It was long overdue, man. I think you are the one that set the table, if you will, of my blossoming broadcasting life. It was you, and so I had to say, good looking out. Shout out to you. Kudos. Hats off. I tell you, if I do one of these things, yes, folks, I'm telling you something. I think everybody that she taught became a success if they were listening.
Well, and the biggest thing for me is just that you all were aspiring minds and looking to grow, or else you wouldn't have been in college. And for me, it's inspirational to see what you're doing and that you're helping new artists to have a platform. And really, that's important. That's important because you might be that one key person that just gives them hope, that launches them beyond where they are today and into a huge future.
That's what Let's Chat Jam is about, man. It's about highlighting people's strengths. And since you're here, Kate, and this is all about you, we're going to highlight some of your strengths today. And we're going to let the people know just exactly how important you are to the life of others. And if they want to find out more information about you, all they got to do is go tap in because you're right there.
Absolutely.
And I like to talk about that interview you did with WCNY.
Yes. So I work currently as an executive director of a foundation in a very rural country place, at a hospital. And they came to me, and it was really about finance and money and how money was on the move. And the fact that they chose a foundation to put a caveat out in a vignette about the foundation was to me, it was an honor, because most of the industries that they were focusing on were businesses, large businesses, new businesses, up and coming. So to be a nonprofit, it was definitely an honor to be selected to have, that portion of their show, and really just showing like how you can use local foundations, family foundations, and then look at state and even federal money to make sure that you're building for success for the community as well as the future. I always ask people, what will be your legacy? What will be the one thing that people remember you for when you're not here on this earth anymore? Our time is limited. So that's what this is about how can we forge the way for the future. And I really think it's important to think about the future.
Definitely. Being future is important. If we don't have a plan, if we fail the plan, we plan to fail.
Absolutely.
And so we have to do that. So I want to talk about your musical inclinations, your musical background. Can we talk about some of that? Can we talk about the pianist in your family?
Yes. So my mom plays organ and piano. My dad's a pastor, and of course, my mom played music throughout her life. And then also my grandmother and a few other women, which back in the 50s and 40s, women didn't have a lot of record deals, but she did. And it was the fact that music has definitely been a part of our family for generations. And I honestly, like, if I'm having a bad day, a great day, a happy day, like, it's always about music. And I think all of us can remember that song that just hits our heart, or that song that gets us jumping in our seats, or that song that really hits home about a topic that's sensitive to us individually. And I think that's something that music has. I always say music goes beyond race, it goes beyond gender, it goes beyond age, and it's generation after generation. When I hear like my nephews and nieces singing the Beatles, or you see little kids singing songs from Marvin Gaye, you know what I mean? It's just the point that it's cross generational. And music is one thing that I can honestly say we all embrace at some time or another. And for me, like, I remember being in high school just saying, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. Now I'm hoping I have more years than what was originally planned for me, because I have a lot to do still. So it's just the point that music is that one thing that I think bonds us all.
You got a point. Music is like the bridge that can bridge the gap between people. Like, for example, we may not agree with a lot of stuff, but we might agree that Michael Jackson was the king of pop. Okay, and so we have disagreements everywhere, but we can agree on some musical artists, some musical icons, and even some local artists that maybe I don't know, and you don't know, but I know. And then we check them out together, and you're like, yeah, MC Andrew Love, I'm digging the vibes. Yeah, man. So music is really important for the culture of people. And here's the thing, man. The music today is not like the music that your grandmother listened to or that your mom listened to. The music today is talking about things that we wouldn't usually talk about in music because it's degrading the people, especially the women. This culture today is like anti-women. It's really like it's changing up, man, because it's there's so many things I can say about this right now, folks, and I would have to edit this. So if you're watching this live, enjoy this, because when you go to the podcast, it's not going to be there. And what I'm talking about is this. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about it. I just won't. I just know that there's an agenda going on in the industry, and it's got to change, and it's got to stop, and somebody's going to have to make the change or break the cycle.
Well, and I was just saying the other day, I would never turn on a radio and hear WAP playing. Like, and it would just never have been. Like, it wasn't easily acceptable to talk about sexualizing women and degrading women. And I think it's going backwards. Like, we've come so far. And even as someone who's made their way to the top, I was a GED grad. I now have 2 years left of my PhD. I have 2 master's degrees and other degrees below them, but I shouldn't be there. According to statistics, I was more likely to be a drug user or homeless than I was to be a PhD. So to know that I've worked my way to the top, and how many times people say, oh, who helped you out? There's always people that help you out, but why do women get asked that question and men don't? You know, it's the same. And why is it that women make a third of what men do in our country? There's a problem. And if music plays into it, the way we're portrayed in media, and we need to continue to push to raise our women to be strong and smart and educated, and also to raise our men to stand beside them. And to say, you know what, this isn't okay for music like this to be degrading to women.
You're right. You're right. I love the old music where I can sit back and I can reminisce about my mom and my father and good times. And I like music that just talks about reality, but leaves the degradation out of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's okay to talk about how you feel, but where I draw the line is when you're putting down somebody and you're infecting somebody else's life. That's not cool. And that's the agenda that some of the people in the industry are on, and it sucks. And that's why I always seem to pull myself away from the music and pour my heart out into the podcast. Now, if an artist wants to be in the music and they want to be famous and they want to be famous for their music, God bless them. And I'm willing to help them get to where they got to be at. If that's what they want to do with their lives, I'm going to help them get there. I'm not going to stop them, but I will warn them of certain situations you might find yourself into, and you want to watch yourself in those types. But that's about it. I mean, but if that's what you want to do, folks, hey, I'm down with it, man. I love the music. I love music. But I just don't like...
I mean, we all have the right to say. It's freedom of speech, right? We've all fought for that right, and we're grateful for that right. The one thing I urge people to think about is, what will your children be singing? What will your grandchildren be singing? And do you want them saying the words that are coming into the music today? And sometimes it takes that person with their popularity to do something different, to set a new trend. And I call it the tipping point of positivity. Like, you know what? Of course, that's trendy, but create the new trend. Be the trendsetter, not the follower. Like, and you know what? Trendsetters make billions. People that follow make less because they're not the trendsetter. So it's just realizing that if you have that many followers and people love your music, if you say to them, let's change this up, I want your opinions on this, this, and this, get their feedback, bring them in, get their buy-in. You know what I mean? And it's sometimes the unpopular choice is sometimes the better choice for the future.
You got a point. I'm digging the vibes. I really am. So let's talk about what you're doing now. What are you doing now? Like, what is your role? What is your job?
Sure. So I'm a grant writer as well as fundraising, development, corporate sponsorships, advertisements, raising money for all sorts of projects, programs. For example, we have a Fit Kids program that is part of the Y, which helps to overcome childhood obesity. We also have a number of different programs for individuals who are currently battling cancer, breast cancer, as well as all forms of cancer, to ensure that they can get through their daily needs while they're in that battle. And I just won a federal grant for mental health programs. So that way, people, when they need support, can go without having stigma. That they can just walk in and say, I'm having a bad day, and know that they don't have to be afraid that they're going to be hospitalized or criminalized for their mental health.
I think these kids are like trying to be loud on purpose so they could drown people out, so they could be part of the conversation. I told these kids, don't scream, don't holler,
Well,
don't
we can
make
always
noise.
take a break if you need to.
Yeah. Hey, folks on YouTube land, man, enjoy these bloopers because, well, that's part of live broadcasting. You never know, especially when you're doing it from your home studio. That's part of live broadcasting. All these loud drown outs. But I'm going to just say something, folks. It's been a pleasure having everybody here. It's been a pleasure having Kate here, man. And if you were in the classroom I was in, you would be saying the same thing, man. This lady here was doing big things before ITT Tech, and she was really doing big things after ITT Tech, and she just hasn't quit. It's just there's no quitting your body, man. There's no quitting your bones. You don't even know what that word means.
Nope.
All you do is go, go, go. That's it,
Well,
man. It's one way for you.
well, and this is what I'll tell people. Like, how many times do you say, "Oh, I wish I could"? Like those words. "Oh, I wish I could XYZ, go to school, get a job doing, I don't know, working in auto repair." But I can't. The only person that's saying can't is the person saying it. And I always say, why can't you? If you want to do it, you'll do it. If you have the drive, go for it. And I just think that there's an opportunity for anyone to look and to say, how can I do it? You know what? There's people out there to help you. You just got to find them. And sometimes it's distracting or you can't find how, but there's someone that will show you if you look and you really want to do it. So yeah, I'm someone that I don't believe. I mean, I had a lot of people that told me I wasn't going to make it anywhere in life, and
They
some of
lied.
them, well, you know what it is. Sometimes when people get scared of big dreams and can't even dream little dreams, it's scary. You know what I mean? It's something that people go, that's not possible. But as far as I'm concerned, anything is possible.
I like your positive thinking, man. I'm taking the vibes. I really am.
Well, it's just I just think people just sometimes need to step up, a leg up.
Maybe if somebody would take the initiative and say, "Hey, man, let me help you out a little bit. Let me give you some advice. Let me just tell you where I was in my time where you're at now, and let me
Yep.
tell you how I overcame that." How
Yep.
often do you see that in this world of people? I
You
mean,
know.
there are a lot of people out here like that, but you don't hear about it. It's not like it's a mainstream of good Samaritans or good people helping people out to succeed. There's not much headlines in that,
Well,
you
and
know.
I always say if every single person just did one nice thing a day, and I'm talking simple, let someone cut in front of you, say good morning to the person at the office next to you, tell someone they look nice today, help someone cross the street. I'm not even talking like big nice. I'm talking little simple niceties. If every single person did it, we would create a positive tipping point that was so large that you couldn't ignore it. So why is it when something's so simple It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. And I don't know about you, but if anyone smiles at you, the likelihood that they don't smile back is less than they will. And those positive endorphins are already running through their system. So like it's the point that sometimes it's just, and you may never know, that person might be on the brink of suicide or be in a domestic violence situation or have considered stopping drinking from alcohol or maybe struggling at a job, and you saying good morning or you saying I hope you have a good day could be that one thing that makes a difference for them. You don't know. We don't know everyone's story, and we all have stuff. Do you know what I mean? We all have issues that we don't talk about, and we all have things that we go through. It's just the point that sometimes it's too much. And sometimes you're nice, being nice to that person could make a difference.
You're right. You never know where somebody's at this point of life. They may be having a bad day, or they maybe had some bad news, and then here I come with their food from DoorDash saying, "Hey, how you doing? Here's your food, nice and hot. Have a great day." That's what I do.
Yep.
That's what I do. I make a conversation in 2 seconds.
Yep. And I call that the sunshine, like bringing sunshine to someone's world. And it's simple in my mind, like, and it always comes back to you. Like when you're not at work, to have someone come up, "Oh my gosh, you weren't at work. I haven't seen you in a week. Oh, I was off. I was worried something was wrong with you." Like that means they missed you. You know what I mean? And all it is saying good morning. And I urge people, and I know it sounds super corny and like, oh, happy, you're not happy all the time. I don't know. You've known me for a long time, Andrew. Like I have pretty much had this mentality for a really long time. And I just believe that when people see that it's truly you, and I'm not saying I can't have a bad day, I just tell people when I am. You know what I mean? I'm having a bad day. I kind of would need some cheer today from you. Like it's okay to say you're not having 100% day. And so I just think that a lot of times people take for granted those little like moments that could really make a difference for someone.
You got a point there. You really do. Well, since you've been here for the first time, you have now become part of the Let's Chat and Jam fam, which means you don't have to wait for me to tap into you and say, "Hey, Kate, you want to come to the show?" Nah. You can tap into my DMs. Matter of fact, you go to Instagram at Let's Chat and Jam and say, "Hey, MC, I got a new book that I'm writing or that I wrote.
Yep.
I have I'm in a new film." It doesn't matter what type of film. It could be a documentary film for all I care. Hey, as long as you're doing it and you're happy about it, I want to know about it. And when you do tap into me and say, "Hey, Drew, I need to come back into your show because I got to update the listeners about what's going on in my life," I will grab a calendar and I will dig out a date and I'll say, "Deal, you in the show. Let's go." But that's how easy it is when you're in the Let's Chat and Jam fam. So, Kate, welcome to the fam.
Thank you for welcoming me to the fam.
Yeah, you are now part of the fam, which means you are in the VIP. So all you got to do is go tap into me and say, "Hey, MC, I need to come to your show." And of course, I will say, "Right on." And then I'll get you in. Kind of like how I did recently. Because, Miss Kate, you are probably one of the illest people I've ever met. I mean, illest meaning dope. I mean, cool. I mean, rad. You know what I'm saying? You are so positive. It's very rare to meet positive individuals such as yourself. And when you do meet somebody like you and you become a friend of theirs, you gotta treat them right. Make sure that you have a friend. If you got a friend like Miss Kate here, who's always positive and always happy and always sees the brighter side to the dark cloud, you gotta be like, "You know what? I gotta take care of this friend, man. I gotta nurture this friendship because those people don't last forever, man. And not everybody's here like that. Not every folk that you know is gonna have a bad day still show you a good day. Even though they're feeling some type of way, they're not gonna take it out on you because they know it's not your fault. How many people know that? people that do that. They get mad at their wife or their husbands, or they get mad at work, and then they come home and take it out on their families. This case not like that. She's not going to take it out on you, me, or anybody else because it's none of our faults. Matter of fact, if anything, she's going to talk about it and say, who wants to listen? I got to talk about some stuff.
Well, and then the biggest thing too is just try to find other outlets. Like, and in terms of like your normal like podcasters, like definitely look. There's always opportunities for kids in music, for people who are adults going into the industry or continuing in the industry. And especially if you can help the next generation. There's so much out there about the legacy of music and how this up and coming generation needs mentors and needs people to be there for their generation because they have it. I mean, as people always say, you don't have it as bad as the last, but they got it pretty bad. And so it's just be there for them and show them your work, show them your artistry, bring them on board because there's a lot of money out there for that.
You had said that music saved your life.
Yes, definitely.
Can you expound on that a little bit?
Sure. So obviously, in the beginning of the podcast, we talked about that I had my GED and my high school equivalency. So I was a high school dropout. I had a lot of things go on in my life at a young age. And when I was a teenager, I was rough. Like I moved out at 16 and I was living from house to house and practically homeless. And from friends and going into the foster care system. And there's just a lot to that. But the one thing I can honestly say is every day I would turn to music. And when I didn't think I wanted to be here on this earth anymore, or if I felt like no one was there for me, those notes, that music, it was the one thing that made me feel like I wasn't alone. And that's why I even like to my kids or to other people that are struggling, like music tells a story and there's always someone that's had a similar story to yours. It can't be the same because it's not your story, but it can be similar. And to know that even if you have no physical person in front of you, which I didn't, I always had music and I relied on that to bring me joy. Or to hear, cry a few tears. We've all had those songs where they turn them on just to have anger or be upset, or you just get mad and get angsty. Like it's the point that we all have those moments and we know those songs that just come to mind and they're your go-to playlist. Like that's exactly what that was. And like, honestly, like I've always listened to music. I've always danced. I've always gone out, listening to music at like live music or going to see people in new, concerts. And I love it. And if I love all types of music and it's all about telling a story. And to me, music tells a story.
It does, especially good music.
Yes.
But yeah. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here. And your words are soothing. And do you have any advice for some of the young folks that are coming up that either want to get into music or they want to do what you're doing? They want to grant write or they want to teach people. They want to do what you're doing. Like they want to be in front of people. They want to help people. Do you have any advice for that?
First, number one, if that person says, I want to be a teacher, want to be a musician, want to be an artist, want to be a grant writer, want to be an astronaut, want to be, I don't know, the next person that creates the next electric car. Don't forget the word want. That want drives you. The fact that you feel that way, it then becomes a need. I need to. Because when you transition from want to need, it then becomes part of your everyday. Every day you get up and you go to work and you figure out that path. And if you don't know, go online, look for a mentor, find someone who's in the industry, call jobs that you could potentially have in the future and say, listen, I want to do this in 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, next year. Who do I talk to and who can I shadow? Who can I come talk to about this? Who does it? Because you know what? They're never going to turn down someone to come see what their job is about. And you know what? That was the best thing I could have done was ask. because that's how I got into the things I've gotten into, was because I found other people that did it too. And you know what? Don't let the world hold you back. It's only a moment in time. And especially with internet and the constant, advertisements and marketing and, people being up on the latest sneakers or the latest clothes or the trends. Trends change daily, by the minute sometimes. And you know what? Your life keeps on going. So don't give up. And anyone who tells you, oh, you should give up, that's not possible, just say, okay, but for me, it is. It might not be for you, but it is for me. Dream big, because that's the only way you can get to the top.
Wow. Well spoken. Well spoken. I love your words, man. So positive, so positive. And the outlook on life is such an amazing thing, because you've been through a lot of stuff, Miss Kate. You've been through a lot of stuff. And just to see how bright you are and how glowing you are right now today tells me that you're in a great spot and mentally. And that's really cool, man, because mental health, that's real important that we keep
Yeah.
up on that and keep it. And if we find somebody that's going through it, it's okay to go, hey, man, you all right? Can I help you out? Do you need someone to talk to? Because I'm here to listen. It's okay to listen to somebody every now and again and give some good advice, not advice from your personal opinion, but advice from what you see them going through. Because there's nothing wrong with being nice to people. I think that's cool today, is being nice to people. That's the end thing, and that's in my opinion. It's just being friendly and loving somebody for the sake of them being human being. That's been my motto forever. Love somebody because they are a human being like you are, and you're happy to see them alive and kicking and going for their dreams. That's what
Yes.
your life you're happy to see. And that's what I'm happy to see here, Miss Kate, for you, is how you're doing big things and you're getting these accolades. People are actually recognizing your hard works and your sacrifices and your dedications. And I'm so proud of you for going for your PhD. That's a big deal. And when you do that, I'm going to call you Dr. Kate. Yeah.
Well, and you know what? For me, like, it's all about what your personal and professional aspirations are and what motivates you to keep on ticking. And in terms of people with mental health, the biggest thing is, and I have found in my experiences, that when people are really down and out, they just want to feel needed. They want to be heard. And sometimes they just want somebody just there to listen. And it might seem really bad at the moment, but when someone's there to care, they don't feel so alone anymore. And just be there for people, like, and don't judge them. We don't know the road they're on. And we all can have opinions, we all got them. And it's just the point that, like, if we can help you, again, you might be that inspiration that makes the next, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson didn't have a nice life as a young adult. And so it's the point, but look at him. You know what I mean? You brought him up in terms of being the king and just being where he was from and what he grew up with. But you know what? Look where it ended up. So it's the point that he made amazing music and touched the world. And so for someone who didn't have the best upbringing as a youngin, it doesn't mean that that's an indicator that you can't be something great. And if that's what you want, is to seek greatness, walk in the world as if you already have it. I always say, if you walk with that in mind and keep that in the forefront all the time, just don't let it stop, because that's what happens, is we let the world get in the way of our dreams.
Or the worst thing, we let ourselves get in the way of our dreams.
Yeah.
I've done that numerous times. So
Yep.
there's no if they want to know more about you, Kate, if they want to know more about you and about your services you offer people, how can they find out?
Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the email as well as contact on my Snapchat and Instagram. And then that way they can connect with you right from your page, and they can send an email. They can definitely send a shout out anytime. And then they can get in touch with me anytime. And you know what? Even if it's just a conversation, I always say to people, I might not have the answer, but I will definitely find it for you. And you know what? I'm that person. Like someone could say, I want to find blueberry muffins. Like I'll go online and help them find it because you know what? That's something they want. It's just that I can be in the alley, like the aisle at Walmart, and I'm 5'10". So, you know, there's a woman reaching up for paper towels on the third row. I'm gonna help her. It's just the point that paying it forward and helping is what I do. So I might not know what you're looking for, but I might be able to help you find it.
You're like the middle person, man. You're like the person that got all the context. Like, okay, well, I don't know this, but I do know who does.
Well, it's not that hard with the internet, but I will say that like sometimes it gets overwhelming and there's so much information and you don't know which way to turn or who I want to go to school. There's 19 colleges in my state like that offer the program I want. Which one's the best one? Well, here's a few people that can help you who are not there to just recruit you for their college. They're there to help you be successful. Or I need scholarships. How do I find them? Or I want a job doing XYZ. What kind of degree do I need? Do I even need a degree? Like those are all things that people question but don't always have answers for. And or I want to buy a house or I want to buy a car. I mean, it could be anything. I want to make an album. How do I how do I start live streaming? Like those are all things that people might have a question about but don't have any idea where to turn. So for me, it doesn't hurt to connect people. We're all connected. We're all connected. And I always say in Western New York, Central New York, upstate New York, it probably everywhere. It's 8 degrees of separation or 9 degrees of separation. I say it's 2 or 3 with the internet.
That makes sense. Well, thank you so much for coming through the show. I really do appreciate your time. And your advice is so invaluable. Folks,
So thank you.
Kids, you can learn a lot from Miss Kate over here to my left, to your right. So make sure you go ahead and tap into Miss Kate and get to know her. And when you come back to like in the descriptions below this video, you're going to see all the information you need to tap into Miss Kate. And I'll tell you something, folks. When you listen to Miss Kate, man, you're going to get well informed and you're going to be changed. I'm telling you, she's very positive and it's infectious. Her positivity goes a long way. And in this world of negativity and darkness, we need somebody bright like Miss Kate. We need somebody out there that's showing us love for the sake of, well, I'm just happy to do it. So thank you so much, Miss Kate, for coming through to the show. I really do appreciate your time. And it's been really dope. And thank you for tapping in. And for those who watch this on live on YouTube, I appreciate your eyes and ears. I'm indebted to you. And of course, those who are listening to this on the podcast, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to your podcast from, I am indebted to you. And for those folks that are tapping in on Undiscovered Gems, which comes on every Friday on the Block 105 radio, I'm indebted to you. So thank you so much for tapping in and listening to everything that's got going on for Let's Chat and Jam on Undiscovered Gems. If you want to know about Miss Kate, all you got to do is tap into her. She's everywhere. She's on LinkedIn. She's all over the place, man. As a matter of fact, as I said, when you see the credits on the bottom of this video, it's going to have her links. Trust me, folks. You want to tap in and dive into the mind of Miss Kate because she will help you in more ways than one, folks. She really will. But thank you so much for coming through, Miss Kate. You are a wonderful lady. You're awesome. You're just a great person all around, man. A great person to know. And I'm so blessed that I have met you when I did. And I'm glad I was so glad that I got in that class and had that class with you because you are really good at what you do. Thank you so much for your time. And folks, if you have a dream, if you have a goal, if you have a passion, then go for it because only you can stop you. And nothing beats a failure but a try. Peace out, everybody.